Welcome back to Sledgehammer Horror, guys. I am Ken Sledge, and let's talk horror. Now, today I'm joined by the amazing Robbie. Robbie, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing pretty good. How you doing? Thanks for the
I'm
invite.
doing. Oh no, I'm so excited to have you here. But before we talk about why you're here, Robbie, I
Hmm.
would like for the people that don't know you to get to know you a little bit. Um, you created Deadly Vision Studios, and
Hmm.
after running a few horror channels and seeing everyone doing kind of like the same old thing, you
Hmm.
decided to take a different route with that
Yeah.
and started 3D printing horror collectibles, even like laser engraved pieces that fans can actually afford.
Yeah.
You want to
Yeah.
give the horror community something cool and something unique without breaking the bank. So,
Yeah.
what gave you the drive and the desire to actually start Deadly Vision Studios?
Well, a lot of, like I said, channels do the same thing, and that's not a knock on them, right? I always tend to do everything different. And a lot of channels like yours as well, they're the place to go for horror. And I'm always creative, always been creative. So I just got to the point that's like, I want to do something for the horror community that nobody really does. So the channel has been changed so many times because you got to find your voice, you got to find your niche, and it really started in airbrushing, and then Eric from the Bearded Entertainment, I got to give him a shout out. He 3D printed. I'm like, you know what, that's a good idea. So I started doing that and bouncing back and forth, and then I got into laser printing. But it's really just one of those that I'm all about the community, and
Hmm.
you go to all these conventions, and I don't need to knock them or anything, but they're expensive, dude, and I know the price of them. And I was always that little kid that, oh, I want that and that, but my family, we can't afford that.
Right.
So I always told myself, if I can be in a position to do something and give something that everybody would love and without breaking the bank, that's really where it started when I was a kid, really.
And the things that you do, and obviously I trust him enough the way I found out what he did. I got a hold of him right away and was like, dude, what would it take to get a Jason Goes to Hell mask
Yeah.
that's sledgehammer horror ish? And so excited to receive
Yeah.
that, man. Like,
Yeah,
uh
it's over there. Almost
is it?
done.
Yeah, I
It's
can't.
almost done. Yeah, it's like it's right there. But
Yeah.
I'm waiting for the straps. They come in next week. I'm actually going to give you leather straps and everything. But
Oh
yeah, I
man.
told you, I hook you up. I mean, because you're part of the community. Everybody knows you. It's
Mhm.
like it's not one of those, oh, he's just doing this because no, because this is really, I mean, if you go to my live streams, I'm usually giving something away. Coasters,
Right.
print, so something. It's just I'm a big hearted guy, they say.
And I think that when you're so about the community, it comes back to you as well.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
and like I said, I love the work you do. When was looking through your stuff, I was like, man, I got you actually the first thing I saw you make was a grabber mask. And I was
Yeah.
like, I remember getting a hold of you like, dude, that's amazing. Like you did an amazing, amazing job. And then we started talking about how Jason Goes to Hell was my favorite in the franchise, and what would
Mhm.
it take to get a Sledgehammer horror themed Jason Goes to Hell mask? And you were just like, yeah, let's fucking run it. And I was just like, wow.
Yeah. It was like, I'll
And
hook you up, yeah, but
yeah,
and I never done one. I done the other Jason mask, and I never did Goes to Hell, and I never just did a black one. A black.
right.
So it's always detailed, it's always weathered. So it's in it for me too. It's like, okay, let's let's do this. Let's hook him up, and it's gonna be it's really really fun, and it really is fun. Especially when you do the
Mhm.
live streams and the community gets behind you. Oh, that's awesome, and it's kind of like if you're streaming or whatever, and they say, we really dig your channel, or you're
Yeah,
the best. Every once in a while, you need a pat on the back, man, and
you
that's what
do.
that's just a simple. That's badass. That's good enough for me.
And I love that. I love the fact that that's what our community is love.
Yeah,
And I think
yeah.
it's an incredible community to be a part of, and I'm so proud to be a part of it. And um, I do got to say one thing real quick.
Mm.
All I can think when I look behind you is all we want to know is who drove the car in here. We're not gonna be mad. Like with that hot dog costume.
Yeah, that's Oscar Myers, the mascot.
That's so
So
great, man. So,
yeah.
but I do got to say, in order for you to be this influence that you are in the horror community. And in order for you to do the amazing things that you do with your horror art,
Mm.
horror had to start for you somewhere, Robbie. So now I would like to go
Oh,
back to the past and talk
okay.
about what got you started in the horror genre, your first horror movie. And Robbie, the first horror movie you watched was,
Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2.
oh boy. Um, and it's funny because for a long time, this was like a controversial movie.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
to me like I love this movie. I think with
Yeah.
the exception of the remake, this is the
Mhm.
darkest Freddy that we get.
Oh, yeah. It's
Um,
definitely his most kills, you know. And, you got to give him credit because what they did was ballsy.
yes.
Bringing certain stuff to light that was not really allowed. I mean, it's fine now, we
Hmm.
can say it, homosexuality, whatever. And that's what I really like about it because they did something, they brought it out in the forelight when everybody's like, oh no, we can't do that. So yeah, a lot of people say certain things about it, but I think it took a lot of courage what they did. And I respect it. You kind of got to.
And I think the reason it's always kind of made me mad
Mm.
um, is because like in every single 80s slasher, we
Mhm.
get tits and ass in every single one.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they make one movie that's about guy ass and people can't
Yeah.
handle it.
Oh
So
yeah,
to
they
me,
lose their stuff. Yeah. It's,
I've always said about this movie, like if you can't handle a gay movie, quote
yeah.
unquote,
Yeah.
I think that's more of a you problem than the
It is
movie's
because look
problem.
at the stuff out now, and everybody's completely fine with it. So, and some people still say it's one of the gayest movies. They
Hmm.
can't get it because I think they're so used to everybody saying it. But it's like, look around, man. There's a lot of movies that touch on that, and it's not a bad thing. It's making you aware of stuff.
Right.
And Nightmare on Elm Street was ahead of the game on a lot of stuff. It really
Oh,
that's why I love that
absolutely.
franchise so much.
Hmm. And like I said, if you can't handle one gay movie, that's a you
Yeah,
problem, bro, not an art
yeah,
problem. But
yeah,
do you
yeah.
remember about how old you were the first time you had seen it?
I was 9, I think, 9 years old. But yeah, around, yeah, probably about 9 years old when I saw that. Because I grew up, yeah, I was born in '83, showing my
Hmm.
age, but I grew up '90s in the '80s. I always said I was a
Hmm.
'90s '80s kid. I was catching up, and I really think
Sure.
that's good. That's the perfect year. If you was born like in '83 or '82, you're growing up in the '90s. You're growing up with those '80s, because mostly they're all on
Yep.
VHS now. It's like the perfect time to be alive as I look back now.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's yeah, I was born in 86. So I was a
Mm.
couple years late, but I did get the 90s. So I'm happy
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah.
Do you remember who you were with when you watched Nightmare for the first time?
Well, it was my sister because how the story goes, how I saw the movie is a little song called Nightmare on My Street or
Okay.
Street. Okay. And my sister used to play that in the hallway to get me to cry to go to sleep for school. Right. And I asked the one, I asked the one question because you heard the Freddy voice. I'm like, who is that? Because I didn't know who he was. And she goes, oh, let me show you. Well, she did because she had that's the only one she had was Nightmare because she had a big box of VHS tapes and she threw in Nightmare on Elm Street too. Well, another funny story about that, I had the meanest bus driver, just the meanest. Us kids was loud, right? We never got up. But he just hated kids, and I never understood why. And then she showed me that movie, and it's really weird because when Robert England's actually the bus driver and how he slammed the door shut, he did that same thing. And then when he transformed into Freddy, I was like, that's it.
Yep.
That's Freddy Krueger. That explains everything to me. And that movie scared me so much. We used to have
Yeah.
slumber parties. Remember those? Remember slumber parties?
Oh, absolutely. My
With my
kids still
buddy.
have them.
Yeah. And so we was gonna do a slumber party with my buddy. And my sister had Friday 13th part 2 and 3. We was gonna rent Nightmare 1 because I haven't seen it, and 3 I haven't seen it, and new Friday 13th part 4. We had a
Okay.
plan. My sister comes in there just like a movie, dude. She's no longer with us, God rest her soul. And she comes in there and she leans on the door. She's like, so you're gonna spend the night at a friend's house, huh? It's like, yeah. And I told her I was gonna borrow Nightmare 2. She goes, oh, that's fine, but do you really want to spend the night there? And I'm like, why? She goes, you don't know where he lives? And I shit you not, 6 blocks away, he lived on Elm Street. So I was like, I fucking know how this is going to end, and I didn't go, dude. I did not go. I did but that unlocked something to me. Later on,
Sure.
here comes the other movies. Halloween, finished Friday 13th, Candyman, Pinhead, or it's this Hellraiser, the snowball effect. But Freddy is why he's my guy. I mean, he started it all. He's really started all this. What I'm doing now is because of the fear of Freddy instilled in me.
Sure. And he still is.
Oh
Freddy
yeah.
Krueger is still an icon in the world
Oh yeah.
today.
Yeah.
And
I'm
we
proud.
talked about how influential
Mhm.
Nightmare on Elm Street 2 is.
Yeah.
Do you remember which scene it was that affected you the most?
Beside the busting, of course, that would be I could say that one, but when he was going through Jesse in that scene, it wasn't really kills. Like when he was going transfer, and the whole you seen the eye down the throat, he's coming out of Jesse. We never seen it. And I never said this publicly, but I'll put that transformation up against American Werewolf in London. I never seen it, even growing up. I never seen a transition into, here's the dude, kid, and then here comes Freddy. You see the claws coming out of his arm, and it slices his chest. He comes out, and it's Freddy. That was really the scary part of me. That really was because like, oh, now Freddy's, he's coming in the real world. You thought it was his dreams, but that's probably beside the bus. That one was what really scared me.
Well, and I think that they genuinely did try. And the cool thing is, this is still the only Freddy movie where we get Freddy in a group.
Yeah, yeah,
Like you get that
yes,
whole nightmare massacre at the end with Freddy killing
yeah, yeah.
everybody at the pool. And still one of my favorite scenes of any Nightmare on Elm Street movie is
Mhm.
that part. And you get one of the most iconic quotes.
You are all my children now.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Still to this day, one of my favorite Nightmare on Elm Street quotes, right up there with "Welcome to Prime Time, bitch."
Welcome to prime time, bitch.
Oh yeah. I mean, he has some. This is God. I even like Bon Appetit, bitch. Or I like when he scratches on Jesse in part three. Come get him, bitch. Freddie always had this personality, and he was dark, right? And I really didn't know until I got older. And the pool scene was cool, but it kind of bothered me because when you finally watch all these, you're so used to him, you have to pull him out, and he just comes out. But at the same time, that's what scares you because maybe that's just not true. Maybe he just has to link with that one person to bring him out. It's really a lost gem. It's really underrated. People just say it's not good, but it really is underrated. That film. It was my favorite film of all time until New Nightmare came around, and then
Mhm.
it changed all that. But I still love the movie to this day. If it's like, yeah, if anybody's like, I like it more than the first one, and people think that's blasphemy, but that's what got me into everything. So of course it pulls on the heartstrings.
It does. And I see. We'll talk about that in a little bit because that is something I do ask. But obviously, as horror fans, we do love the kills. We live
Oh
vicariously through
yeah.
the kills. Um, do you have a favorite kill from Nightmare on Elm Street Part Two?
If you know, I could cop out and say, oh, the pool scene, right? It's like because he came out, especially when the kid's running, he just impels him. This is cheesy, but it was effective. It would be Grady's kill. That whole
Mm-hmm.
sequence that he comes out, then he grabs, Grady's banging on the door, scared, and he grabs him, and here comes his parents. His dad can't open the door, and you see four claws. Like I said, it's really cheesy, but it's really, really effective. You knew what
Mm-hmm.
happened.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just don't need to see it, just that little bit. You'll be like, because you knew. And then yes, the effects on it was cheesy. We all know this, but it was still effective. And you was like, man, that was like his best friend. He basically killed his best friend. So
And there's nothing
Brady,
scarier than what happens up here.
yeah, that's the biggest thing. It's like so when you're a kid and you're watching this, you gotta go to sleep. It's
Right.
like so it's like okay, I'm here, but like, and that's why I didn't go to the sleep party, man, or the slumber party. Because what if my friend turns into Freddy Krueger and he kills me, or
Right.
vice versa? I'll turn into Freddy Krueger because in my mind, this is Elm Street. and I'm afraid of Freddy Krueger. So it's like it sounds weird. I know it sounds weird, but that's what has effects in kids, and that's what hooks us, and I think really makes us weird, but in a good way.
And I agree. You know what I mean? That's what made us the horror fans that we are today. So when we talk about Nightmare on Elm Street, obviously we're talking about a big franchise, and this is why I said
Oh
I'll
yeah,
talk about it in a little bit.
yeah.
Which film in the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise would you say is your favorite?
So it gets one of those that you can go different by each day, right? Really, what your mood is, and I love two because it
Mhm.
got me into this. And I like three. Three is what I think really made Freddy pop culture. It really made Freddy what he is, and really built a new line what it is. Like the house that Freddy built. We
The
all know
house
that
that Freddy
saying.
built.
And so three. But I like seven because it put a new terrifying fear into it. Because now he's Wes Craven was dealing with personal life. Like Heather actually had a stalker. He was bringing that into
Oh yeah,
daylight. So when you see that, and then she has a kid, now she's protecting your kid. I'm a father, So it's like that's why I say probably New Nightmare is my favorite nightmare film, and two is a real close second, and of course part three.
sure. And again, I think every movie in this franchise is absolutely amazing, with the
Mm.
exception of 5 and 6. I'm not a fan of Freddy's Dead or The Dream Child. A little too goofy for me,
Yeah.
but
How do you
I even
kill
love part
Icon?
4,
Yeah,
you
well, it's
know?
like that's how you kill. I get six. I always said it. How do you kill Icon? Two ways: put him in space or make him funny. And that's how
Right.
you really can kill Freddy. He was like that Looney Tunes Bugs Bunny. I still think it's funny. I hate it, but I get it at the same time. But if I could go back in time and say I can erase one, it'd definitely be Freddy's Dead. I think he should have been a better send off. I get it because he was like kind of funny, but that wasn't the Freddy that I knew. I want him to go
Sure.
back to darker Freddy, like part two. But
Mhm.
I get it. I get why they did. Let's have fun. It's the last one. So we thought.
Right. Ugh. The thing that for me, at least with Freddy's Dead, I have some nostalgia with it because I saw it in 3D. So
Mhm.
like there'll
I
always
had
be
the
like that
glasses.
nostalgic
Yeah.
part of me. Yeah.
Yeah.
So my uncle took me to see it, so I'll always have that. But
Yeah.
man, I've had an amazing time talking about Nightmare on Elm Street. But here for a second, my little buddy Ghostface is here, and he has a
Yeah.
question for you.
All right.
What's your favorite scary movie, Robbie? What is your favorite horror movie of all time?
My favorite horror film of all time. That's that's hard because there's a lot out there. But I think the one that probably because I gotta look as a kid because nothing really scares me. Being an adult, it's not like hey, I'm a tough guy. Brah. Yeah, jump scares. But I think the one movie that probably scared me the most when I was a kid, besides Freddy, ain't really a movie. It's a miniseries, and that was it. Pennywise,
Hmm.
the first part, right?
Yeah.
That to me probably is my favorite scary movie as a kid. But if you don't want to take that, the second one would probably have to be part four of Friday 13th.
Another very popular choice.
Yeah.
A
Busting
lot of
in the
people.
door, throwing the hammer, so many, going after a kid. So yeah, because like I said, it's Jason and Freddy with me. There's a reason why. I was scared of Jason. I was scared of Michael. I was scared of Leatherface, but Jason with the hockey mask, man, there's a reason why he's iconic.
And Jason to me will always be top. Child's Play is my favorite horror franchise, but when
Yeah.
it comes to the slashers, Jason's number one to me. I don't consider Chucky as much of a slasher as other people do. I
Mhm.
mean, he started out as a Lakeside Strangler, man. Like, let's not
Yeah.
make him a
Yeah.
slasher,
Yeah.
like.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. For me, Child's Play will always be the favorite horror franchise, but I agree with you. Jason Voorhees, top tier, and he proved it
Yeah.
when he beat Freddy in Freddy vs. Jason. And I will die on the hill that I don't give a fuck that Freddy at the end. He's just
Well,
ahead.
I don't count that, but here's how we solved this debate. Because my brother from another mother, Zero, he used to be old host of a show we had. We called him the Killer King of Crystal Lake, the biggest Jason fan, right? And I got him on this. If you want to be technical, Freddy did win. And here's how. I know the viewers like, what? If you look at boxing rules, per hit, Freddy won. He got more hits than Jason. But if you want to do it at the end, okay, but did he really win? Because Freddy winks at the end. So now is Jason dreaming and he's in Freddy's world? So I always say, if you go boxing rules, Freddy won. If you want to go like count to 10 and like, then Jason. So this is where that movie really should have did a better ending. I always said maybe in a barn on fire and they're like, facing each other and they go like Jason X. You know how at the very bottom, at the very end, how they blow everything up. That's what they should have done in this movie. Have the barn come collapsing, and at the end, there's Freddy's glove, there's the mask. We don't know who won, but I'm a Freddy guy. I'm going to say Freddy, of course, but Jason, yeah, it's like he did take a beating, dude. He got whooped if you look at a fist fight. So that's what that movie is. We're always going to debate. I mean, we're still
when I have Jason coming out of the lake holding Freddy's dead head, it's Jason all the way. So, man, I've had an amazing time talking about your first horror movie and your favorite horror movie and everything in the middle. But before I let you go, we always bounce back to the same question. We're going to go back to Nightmare on Elm Street 2, and what we're going to do is rank it on a skull count. 0 skulls being not effective, 5 being extremely effective. You can use half and quarter skulls anywhere in the middle. What would you rank Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Robbie?
Well, it got me to where I'm at now. I mean, I can say this is the house that Freddy built, because he put me on this path of being a junkie. Got to watch all these horror movies. But being older, realistically, I'd probably say 3.5. If you asked me when I was 9, 5, he scared me. But now, as an adult, I'd say he's right that movie's right in the middle, about 3.5.
That's a perfect ranking. And I should have said this at the beginning, guys, but I do have all of Robbie's social media links down in the description. So please make sure you're following him so you can get your own things from Deadly Vision Studio. I promise you're not going to regret it because, like he said, he's not going to break the bank for you. So, Robbie, please don't go anywhere, my friend. I do have a couple more questions for you. Everyone else, if you haven't already, please like, comment, and subscribe. It does help build the channel more than you know. And follow Sledgehammer Horror on social media. Those links are in the description as well. But until next time, keep talking horror, stay what you are, and we'll see you guys soon.